Up next is a very special vision address coming up, and I have the distinguished honor to be introducing this voice onto the dais. He's a rank 1 holder in National Civil Services Examination and recipient of President's Gold Medal, someone who brings with him an exceptional academic and professional journey, and we'll have the honor of listening to him in depth this very afternoon. He was the first serving IAS officer to complete the Harvard Business School MBA program and is an alumni of IIT Madras, Oxford University, JNU, Sri Ram College of Commerce, University of Delhi, and Modern School, and was invited Distinguished Senior Fellow and Visiting Professor at Stanford University. And over the course of his career, he's held senior leadership roles across Government of India, multiple states, driving several initiatives across the spectrum of industries, be it technology, urban development, or digital transformation. He's a recognized global thought leader, someone who's been honored by the World Economic Forum as the Young Global Leader and featured among Thinkers' 50 Global Management Thinkers, while also contributing to international forums, including Davos and United Nations Advisory Body on Artificial Intelligence. Beyond policy and governance, he's also an accomplished singer, even lending his voice as a playback singer in the film Shanghai. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the honor of having you with us to deliver the vision address. Please, with a round of applause, let's welcome onto this dais IAS Secretary, Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, Dr. Srivatsa Krishna.
Thank you very much. It's good to be back again with you. I want to start by asking all of you, when India got independence in 1947, our contribution to global GDP was tiny. We were in the low single digits. From 1947, if you go back 100 years, our contribution to GDP was almost 24, 25%. Today, standing as we are in 2026, our contribution to global GDP has again begun rising. And we are at about 8 to 9%, depending on how you measure it. So the question for all of us as Indians, do we want a Viksit Bharat or a developed India by 2047, which is the vision of the Honorable Prime Minister, or do we continue being another middle-income country? I think with a population of 1.5 billion people, the youngest population on the planet, 65% of our population is below 35. Most other countries have an aging population. I'm reminded of Larry Summers, who was the president of Harvard University, when he said this in some context. I'm not sure I'm paraphrasing him exactly, but he said this in a context. Europe is a museum. Japan is a hospital. China is a jail. Where do you invest except in the US and in India? I think that has a telling story behind it. Think of it, for the last 3 years, IMF has ranked India as the fastest growing large economy in the world. We have a GDP of $4 trillion. Of those $4 trillion, about $1.5 trillion is consumption, which is essential for the hotel and hospitality industry. 1 to 1.5 trillion is consumption. And unlike China, which is a capital-driven, investment-driven economy, we are largely a consumption-driven economy, which is a huge difference. Our macroeconomics have been stable. We have low inflation, a very favorable set of macroeconomic conditions. If you go around the world, I don't think you'll find too many countries in the world which have the combination of the market potential we have and the macroeconomic indicators. We talk of our per capita income as $3,000. I remember when I was in the World Bank in the mid-2000s, when China's per capita income exceeded $4,000, it was an unstoppable rocket ship going up. We are at about $3,000, and when we hit $4,000 or $5,000, there is no reason to believe that India will be any different. And this per capita income of $4,000 hides something in it. I don't know how many of you are aware of this $3,000 per capita income. We have about 200 million people whose per capita income is $12,000. We have another 400 million people who live on under $3 a day. You have another 400 million people who are at about $5,000 to $6,000 per capita income. But each strata is going up to the next one. And why am I giving you this context? Because I think it is time for the hospitality and hotel industry to step up. I'm not a person who knows how to give nuanced and subtle messages. The time has come for the hotel and hospitality industry to step up to play a far bigger role than what you have already played in the development of the sector. Take the case of the IT industry. I spoke about it in the morning. When IT industry, Tata Consultancy Services, was set up in 1968. It was the first major IT company in the country. It took off in 1991 when the deregulation happened, and it is now a $150, $200, $250 billion company. Likewise, if you see any industry, there is a phase where government intervenes, government puts investments in, creates the ecosystem, creates the macroeconomic policy, and thereafter comes a phase where the markets have to take over. Thereafter comes a phase where industry has to take over. So I would like to submit to this audience that the phase where government has done the ecosystem development, and you all know what all that is about. We have one of the best highway networks in the world. We are putting together a framework for destination management organizations at 50 locations across the country. As per the Honorable Prime Minister's vision, 50 locations need to be made world-class over the next 5-7 years, and we have just begun work on that. I invite every hotel group here to partner with us in that. This is not going to be done by government alone. Government is putting in significant capital into every destination, but I have made sure in my official capacity that we have extensive private sector participation as an equity investor, as also as a decision maker in the destination management organization. And I urge you all to step up to help us with that. Please do not depend on government from budget to budget to budget for the hospitality and hotel industry to thrive. We've already done our best. We will continue doing our best. We are working on ease of doing business regulations, which is a very fair ask from industry. As I mentioned in Goa, in the morning I mentioned, we are today down to 36 regulations. There are other parts of the country. In Delhi, you have 105. And each one of them, we are looking at state-wise and simplifying them, doing away with those which are redundant, which are not required today, like the Sarais Act that I spoke about in the morning, and trying to make life easier. At all these 50 iconic destinations, automatically with it, you will get what is called infrastructure status. When you get infrastructure status and want to develop a hotel there, you get concessional bank loans. You get debt at about 6-7% instead of the 12-13% that you take it on today. So government is doing its best in order to ensure that that tourism gets to 10% of GDP in, say, the next 5 to 10 years. We're at 5% today. But look at the good news. With 5% of GDP, we have about 14% of employment of the country comes through this sector. The sector is central to retail, central to culture, central to logistics, central to the whole MICE economy. Government came forward and built Yashobhumi, built Bharat Mandapam, and they are extraordinary venues for doing conferences. But we need the private sector to step up and also help us in this journey towards Viksit Bharat. I also want to bring something else to your notice. The Honorable Prime Minister has said this several times. Each tenure of his has had a theme. And the theme for this tenure is Reforms 3.0, both policy reforms as well as process reforms. And I'm working on both. We are succeeding in some states. In some states, we are moving slower because, as I said, many of these are state-level regulations. But they will happen. Again, go back to the IT industry. Think of where the IT industry was in '68. Think of where it is today. $300 billion of export. In 2024, if I'm not wrong, India's software exports exceeded the oil exports of Saudi Arabia, exceeded the food and agricultural exports of Brazil, exceeded the specialized pharma exports of Switzerland, exceeded the transport exports of UK, and exceeded the auto exports of America. And there is no reason why the miracle which has happened in the IT and technology sector cannot happen in the tourism sector. I'd like to mention one more thing. We have reached out from our side to the top 2-3 hospitality schools. I know many of you here are from the IHMs, and we are very proud of that. When we write to hospitality schools around the world, we mention all of you by name. I request every hotel here, hotel industry, to come forward and help us upgrade the IHMs. We've already reached out to some schools, including Cornell, and hope we can bring them in as a partner. I know several of you here have partnerships with individual IHMs, but I want you to please step up the game. Please come forward and help us improve the pedagogy, help us improve the curriculum, and last but not the least, help us improve the starting salaries for the graduates. I know hotels are hesitant to pay more. I just came back after a surprise inspection of IHM Goa, where I was shocked to find the salaries which are being paid. And I would urge you to please step up and pay these youngsters more. Help us train them better. I realize our curriculums may be out of date, but we want your help, because if we design a curriculum, government is not in this business. If we design a curriculum, you may suddenly find it's outdated. It is not what you want. We want industry to come forward and tell us what is it that you want. Please invest in hospitality sector. We need two hands to clap. We are coming forward with EODB. We've already moved ahead on in some of the states, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Goa, Gujarat. If you face any problems here, please come directly to me. All of you approach me through your associations. Please come to us. And we are trying to make these rules and regulations as simple as possible. There are some which need to be there, which cannot be done away with. For example, the star classification system which is done by my ministry, I know there are issues in it. I know the portal doesn't work well. We are relooking at it completely. And in another 6 months, hopefully, you will have a better portal. But at the same time, when I say we will give you this, I also want to take something from you. And I mentioned what I need. I need your help to access global markets. I need your help for setting up hotels in these 50 destinations in partnership with governments wherever you can, or even by yourself. Need your help in upgrading IHMs. Please come forward and help us. Tourism is a shared responsibility. It is not the government responsibility. I am a bird of passage. An IAS officer is in a job anywhere from 1 to 3 years. At the next Hope conference, or maybe the conference after, I won't be here. There'll be another tourism secretary. But all of you will be here. And I want you to shoulder the responsibility of taking this forward, because this is a permanent treasure and you are the trustees of that. I am a fleeting trustee, you are permanent trustees. And I request you to please help the government in reaching the Honorable Prime Minister and the Tourism Minister's vision of a Viksit Bharat, where travel, tourism and hospitality are centerpieces of this. When I talked about the hotel 5-star classification system, as I said, we will make it simpler. At the same time, there will be some light touch regulation. We cannot have a system where there is no regulation, where you're wanting to get these as voluntary. There will be some kind of regulation also. And I'm being absolutely upfront about it. I can sit here and say, Sab changa si, and then come back and do it from the back door. I don't do those things. If you want us to help you, be your partner, take the leadership role, we will. And that's a promise. But you have to come forward as an equal partner. We cannot do this alone. And if you see the Honorable Prime Minister's speeches, everywhere he's talking of taking forward each sector in partnership with the private sector. I concede you know more of these ground realities than we do. But unless this, the cake has to grow. We are not fighting for slices of the cake. The cake itself has to grow larger. And for that cake to grow larger, I need each of you to step up and take a more proactive role than what you have been doing till now. I'd like to stop here. I'm available. Anyone wants to meet up? I had some good meetings with some global CEOs this morning. Thank you very much for giving me a patient hearing, and look forward to your help in making tourism the forefront and leading contributor for a Viksit Bharat. Thanks a lot.